Hi, welcome to Health Talk with Dr. Akram. I am Akram. In this program, we'll be talking about all kind of different health issues with different experts in the field. But today we're going to talk about dental hygiene, tooth care, gum disease. So just sit down, relax, and enjoy your time with us. Let's look at tooth decay. Tooth decay, also known as dental caries, cavities, is a breakdown of the teeth due to acids made by bacteria. The cavities may be a number of different colors from yellow to black. Symptoms may include pain, difficulty with eating. Complications may include inflammation of the tissue around the teeth, tooth loss, and infection or abscess formation. The cause of cavities is acid from bacteria dissolving the hard tissue of the teeth, enamel or dentin and cementum we call it. The acid is produced by the bacteria when they break down food, debris or sugar on the teeth surface. Worldwide, approximately 3.6 billion people have dental caries in their permanent teeth. In baby teeth, it affects about 620 million people, or 9% of the population. The disease is most common in Latin American countries, countries in the Middle East, South Asia, and least prevalent in China. It is the primary pathological cause of tooth loss in children. Between 29% to 59% of adults over the age of 50 experience caries. There is a long history for dental caries. Over 1 million years ago, hominins such as Paranthropus suffered from cavities. The largest increase in the prevalence of caries have been associated with dietary changes. Archaeological evidences show that tooth decay is an ancient disease dating back to prehistory. Skulls dating from 1 million years ago through the Neolithic period show signs of caries, including those from the Paleolithic and Mesolithic ages. The beginning of the cultivation of rice cultivation in the South Asia believed to have caused an increase in caries, especially for women. A Sumerian text from 5000 BC describes a tooth worm as the cause of caries. Evidence of this belief has also been found in India, Egypt, Japan, and China. But in Pakistan, tooth dating back to 5500 BC or 7000 BC show nearly perfect holes from primitive dental drills. And we're also going to talk about gum disease. So let me say a little bit about gum disease before we go into the program. So gum disease is a very common condition where the gums become swollen, sore, or infected. It's called periodontal gum disease, or is an infection of the tissue that hold your teeth in place. Our mouths are full of bacteria. These bacteria, along with mucus and other particles, constantly form sticky, colorless plaque on teeth. Brushing and flossing help get rid of this plaque. There are a number of risk factors for gum disease, but smoking is the most significant, and also smoking can make treatment a bit difficult. But let's welcome our special guest, Dr. Bala Neelakantan, to learn about dental care and more about the above condition. Dr. Bala Neelakantan is a dental surgeon. He works in Poole. And Bala, welcome to our show. Thank you very much.
Thank you for welcoming to the show, Dr. Akram.
Bala, you had a long drive today.
I did, yes.
What time did you leave? What time did you leave Poole?
It was 5:30. No, 4:30. I'm sorry.
4:30.
4:30. So it took me 3.5 hours to reach here.
Thank you very much for spending all this time to be in our studio with us, especially for all of you to talk about dental care. So this is an amazing thing, Bala. Thank you very much for doing this.
You're welcome. Okay.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about you. Can you say a little bit about you, what you do generally, and where you work, and how is family, things like that?
Yes. I qualified as a dentist. It makes me think I'm look old. Almost 15 years ago, So I qualified in India, and I completed my master's in braces treatment, which is a specialist treatment to straighten teeth. I took another 3 years. In total, I spent 8 years in training. So it was 2008 I came to UK. So since then I've been practicing in UK. So that's gone off like another 12 years now. Okay. So so I live in Poole, and particularly Poole, I moved to Poole in 2009. So my first association in Poole was Poole Hospital. So I started from where junior doctors and junior dentists end up with, like, to get the experience. So I live with my family in Poole for the last 11 years, 12 years. And I started to do travel from Poole. So traveling is not new to me. So I used to travel from Poole up to Liverpool to do various hospital posts for a couple of years, and then I moved back to primary care practices in 2012. So now I have a general dental practice which I run with my wife, and a specialist practice where I deal only with braces, mainly see children and adults who need teeth straightening.
So do you work for NHS, or is it private practice, or or you do both?
I do both. Predominantly the work with the braces is under the NHS, and it's kind of a brand new practice as well, I started only last year. So yeah, that's where my journey has come to.
Oh, thank you very much, Bala. And I know you because my son needed braces, and
Yes,
I was working in Bournemouth by then.
Yeah.
So somehow we met, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So that's great. And my son, as he has gone through about a year of braces, it's almost time to take it out. Yeah. And he's working really well. Thank you very much. He must be happy to hear that. But okay, today we are here to talk about general about dental health, and we talk a little bit about tooth decay, and we're going to talk about gum disease. Before that, anyway, this is a live program, so you can call us on 0203 515 5788 if you have any questions or suggestions. And you can also follow us on our Facebook link or Twitter, and you can also write health talk at intv.co.uk. And we have a special YouTube channel called Health Talk with Dr. Akram. There, all the programs are there. Even all the current programs will be uploaded soon. So keep an eye on that as well. Anyway, let's go back to the program. Okay, let's talk about the importance of brushing.
Yeah, the brushing, like we all know, it seems to be a modern hygiene habit that we have to learn, but actually brushing has a long history among humans. It dates back to 5000, 3000 BC in varied cultures. It seems that the Chinese were ahead of times because they seem to have invented the first bristle brush, made of wood and possibly animal hair. And there are forensic remains and evidence to prove that. And if we move from China close to down to South Asia, they were using barks of wood,
barks of wood, yeah,
wood,
that's right.
miswak. They seem to which has been proven scientifically as well. The medicinal products or the sap from these barks seem to have preserved or improved the health, because they seem to have some antibacterial properties. But they were not perfectly designed like our modern toothbrushes, but they did the job at those times. Those who had the keenest of the minds and who wanted to know more or improve or maintain the general health and the teeth health, they have found these medicinal uses to be very useful. And if you move to Egypt in those days were the modern world, most modern country, because there's lots of evidence from that country which have been unearthed, dating back like 50 years ago from forensic remains, and they seem to have straightened their teeth with wires.
Wow.
and they seem to have used even whitening with teeth, and they seem to have used animal bones shaped like brushes to clean their teeth and remove the stains. And if you move up, Greeks and Romans, they seem to have made again used animal bones, and they've made their first toothpaste by grinding animal bones, hawk's hum, and various sort of products to make it abrasive so it can remove the stains, basically like a polish.
They used to drink a lot of wine as well. Probably they needed that, snake.
So, and the interesting bit of the Roman history is they have employed slaves, the kings and the royals, to clean their teeth. So, which gives us a lot of idea that they seem to have placed so much importance on the teeth health.
Importance of tooth health, that's right.
And mainly to clean. So they have noticed that they get deposits on the teeth, and they clean. So it comes from very ancient times of brushing. But the modern brushes have been invented only in the 1800s. In Europe, the French people have seem to have propagated toothbrushing in a big way in the 1800s, and it seemed to have been like a cultural stigma where you have to brush if you are considered to be a human almost. So, and then with a technological and industrial revolution, we have come to what we know as a modern toothbrush with the bristles.
Okay, how many times do you need to brush generally?
Generally 2 times a day. The background for why the dentist, we all say, everybody says the same thing: dentist, brush 2 times a day, brush 2 times a day, and people get bored. So I think it's a good opportunity as a dentist, for me to explain why you need to brush 2 times a day.
2 times, right.
So our mouth, when we are in our mother's tummy, is completely clean of bacteria. There is no bacteria at all. As soon as our head comes out of the baby's head comes out into the world, soon enough you get bacteria in the mouth. That's completely normal. Like if you test, I think you would agree, if you test the skin, you would have millions and hundreds of bacteria living across in the gut. So these bacteria are there to stay. So they will live with us. But if you have situations or circumstances which make them grow more than the numbers they're normally there, then you get disease. So that applies to, I think you would agree as a doctor, any part of the body. If there are more number of bacteria than they should be, you get disease. The same applies to the mouth. So when you get when the bacteria are living there with the teeth, because the teeth are fixed, they're not moving, so they don't themselves make shed any debris.
And debris,
any debris that we eat. So the food debris and the saliva, which is the watery liquid that we will have, seem to coat the teeth, and the bacteria gets attached to these coatings. So why we recommend twice a day? When you have these coatings, we disrupt that coating every 12 hours.
Oh, okay. So when you brush,
once
you
in the morning,
that line,
and before you go to bed. When you go to bed, your mouth gets dry when you feel. So you need to be making sure that it's completely clean of this excess plaque or the bacteria. The plaque is basically it's made of a jelly-like layer, which is microscopic, attached to the tooth, and to this layer the bacteria attach. And if you don't clean up that problem, next day it's not a problem. A week down the line, still the gums are fine, and 10 days down the line, you'll start to see the reddening of the gums. That's the start of the gum disease.
Start of the gum disease.
And still, if you don't clean them or do not attend a dentist to have it clean, that can progress to the more advanced form of the gum disease. Once the gums are lost, like a hair, it doesn't grow back. So the gums don't grow back, and that becomes an established gum disease.
So that's the reason you need to
you
brush
break the cycle.
You break the cycle by brushing twice. So the layer doesn't build up in your teeth, isn't it? And where the bacteria get attached to.
Exactly, yes.
That's quite interesting. And such as food, generally, what kind of food that affect your teeth? I know, like when I eat pineapple, it's my teeth goes a bit funny, but
Funny.
I don't think it generally affect your health of the health of the teeth.
Okay. Generally, I think you mentioned about really dating back to, like, before 5000 BC, these dental diseases were not that common, especially tooth decay. The reason for that is the more natural and fibrous food. For example, when you say pineapple as a whole is good for the health. But if you make that into a juice, you're releasing the fruit sugar into the juice.
Wow.
And you're releasing the acidic, all the fruits.
So this is a refined sugar, refined carb.
And
things,
most of
things
these supermarket juices, if you see, you get sugar, they add sugar.
Yeah.
Even the no added sugar has the fruit sugar in it.
So it's a Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola
is a good one for your teeth?
Has the sugar. Even, I mean, nowadays I see a lot of children and teenagers. They ask me, "What about doctor? What about the diet Coca-Cola? What about the Pepsi Max? What about no added sugar squashes?" They all have hidden sugars, and the diet Coca-Colas and diet Pepsis, even though they don't have the sugar, they are acidic.
Acidic.
They are so acidic, and if you pour the can of Coke, anyone can try it at home, into your closet, it'll clean well, better than Harpic, right? So it's so acidic for the teeth. So I have to be honest here. I mean, do I take Coca-Cola, Diet Coca-Cola? I do, but I don't use it like water. Do once a week, twice a week with your meal. Enjoy it. But it's just anything in moderation is good.
While we're talking about it, I think we're going to prepare a video. This video, as we discussed, is going to be, so we're going to show our public how to brush properly and how to use the floss properly. And there's another water floss as well, isn't it?
Yes,
these are I don't know if the new things, maybe new things for some
people.
people.
Play the video and then we can just
then we can explain through it.
Yes,
so we're waiting for the video. Until then, anyway, this video is kindly provided by the Health Education England, the Brushing and American Dental Association, and Waterpick. And thank you very much we have taken their videos from the YouTube. If anybody want to watch, you could go to the YouTube and watch the full videos.
In this video, we'll show you the best way not only to brush your own teeth, but also how to easily brush the teeth of others. Toothbrushing should be carried out twice a day, in the morning and last thing at night. We must remember that not everyone can brush their own teeth. But when brushing other people's teeth, the principles are the same. Please remember that toothbrushing takes a full 2 minutes. Yes, 2 minutes. Use a small-headed, medium texture bristles toothbrush with a small amount of fluoride toothpaste. Start by tilting the toothbrush against your teeth so the bristles are at a 45-degree angle to the gum line. Move the brush in small circular movements, a few times on each tooth. Next, brush the outer surfaces of each tooth, keeping the bristles angled against the gum line. Do the same thing for the inside surfaces of all the teeth. Now, brush the biting surfaces of the teeth, on the top and the bottom. To clean the inside surface of the front teeth, tilt the brush vertically for the upper teeth. Gently move the brush long ways down the tooth from the gum for a few seconds. For the lower teeth, tilt the brush vertically and pull the toothbrush gently upwards from the gum for a few seconds. If plaque is not removed from the teeth, it leads to bleeding gums and tooth loss. If you eat or drink sweet things, plaque mixes with the sugar and causes tooth decay. Finally, spit out any remaining toothpaste. Do not rinse the mouth with water or any kind of mouthwash. In this way, the fluoride in the toothpaste will help protect the teeth.
In addition to brushing twice a day, flossing once a day will help keep your mouth healthy by cleaning between your teeth where a brush can't reach. It also helps prevent gum disease. Wrap about 18 inches of floss around a middle finger with the rest wound around the opposite middle finger. Hold a small amount of floss, about an inch, tightly between your thumb and forefingers. and gently insert the floss between the teeth. Hug the floss tight to the side of your tooth. Rub the floss gently up and down, pressing against each tooth. And remember, get behind those back teeth. There are other products to help clean between your teeth, especially if you have braces or have a hard time holding floss. Always ask your dentist if you have any questions.
Now let's get on to water flossing. Start with the lowest pressure setting. Lean over the sink and place the tip in your mouth. Turn unit and water on. Partially close lips to prevent splashing and let water flow from your mouth into the sink. Aim the tip at the gum line. For best results, start with your back teeth. Move along gum line, pausing briefly between teeth. Floss front and back side of teeth for 1 minute a day. The Waterpick water flosser removes up to 99.9% of plaque from treated areas and is up to 50% more effective than string floss.
So, what kind of brush? Electric brush or manual, or what is good generally?
So some patients do ask me whether the manual is always better because they feel that the electric brushes are not doing. But the younger generations have accepted the electric is the way, okay, and the electric brushes have become affordable. So, I mean, as long as the technique is right, there is no difference between an electric and a manual.
All right.
But many of the people nowadays, we get like, we're so dependent on technology, we can't look away from a mobile phone, we can't live without a mobile phone. So once you get used to the electric toothbrush, people think that the manual is not doing the job. So it's all about the technique. I wouldn't say that electric brushes are the only ones you have to use, because they are probably, the word is like easier to use, easier to achieve the goals of cleaning every surface, every single tooth.
Okay, and we're going to talk a little bit more about flossing, and we're going to talk about mouthwash. What is this flossing about, Bala?
So the brushes that we use do not get in between the teeth. So floss is basically a thread.
So we definitely need to clean in between the teeth as well.
In between the teeth. So I mean, it's an important question that you asked. Like, why should we clean in between the teeth? Because the gum is like that. But actually, in between the teeth is where the gum disease starts for most people. Why? Because we are not good at cleaning in between. So where the gum sits in between, it's actually just a soft skin of the mouth. Food debris and the bacteria can get in between the tooth and the gum, and if you don't clean it, you can get gum disease. That's the most common thing that will happen.
If you don't get this wires, this floss, whatever, can you use like a thread or something?
I wouldn't advise. Okay. Now we have special floss. The floss are sometimes medicated. And most of the time they have what we call it as a waxed floss, which makes it easier to slide through the in between the teeth. And if you're forcing any harsh thread like yours, you can damage your gums. So I wouldn't advise you to use anything other than dental floss. Dental floss, which is available widely, and any dental floss. You don't have to go for a branded one. Any supermarket dental floss will do the job. Oh, okay, cool. And mouthwash after brushing, is it a good idea or not? One thing people think, oh, I didn't brush today, I'll substitute with mouthwash. It's a bit like, having, I'm not going to have a shower, I'm just going to put lots of deodorant and, do makeup. Okay, that's a good one. That's exactly how it is. So mouthwash is actually, we don't recommend mouthwash for everyone. Okay. Mouthwash is just an adjunct or an added topping for brushing and flossing. It will not replace brushing. It will not replace. It will not replace. But after brushing, you could use it. Yeah. For example, if a person suffers from an ulcer or an infection, or if a person has a difficult tooth removal, and we think there could be an infection, we advise mouthwash use for 3 weeks. So to prevent and ward off or cleanse a wound in the mouth. So as it's explained in one of these mouthwash advertisements, does it kill some extra bacteria, this mouthwash? It depends whether you rinse exactly the right amount for the right time.
Right time.
So that's crucial. But I'm not saying that you shouldn't use mouthwash, but do not think the mouthwash is doing a replacement for your brushing. So the brushing and the flossing is a must. The mouthwash does help if used regularly and if used with the right volume and the right time.
There's a question coming through the Facebook. It's asked, this person asked actually, morning brushing, is it before breakfast or after breakfast?
I think that question comes from because in the continental and in the UK culture, we finish our breakfast with a glass of juice. Brushing after you have taken, for example, a juice or a citrus juice, any acid, clementines, anything like grapefruit juice, they all have the acid content. As I explained in the beginning, if you eat the fruit, that's the safest way to preserve your dental health. If you're taking fruit juices, it'll always cause some damage depending on the frequency of intake. So to answer that question, I would say after the breakfast is fine, it's probably better, but leave time. I would say 10 minutes after the breakfast is a good time to start brushing.
10 minutes after?
Because what happens after you eat anything like, you know, a sugary coffee or a tea or a juice, the mouth water, the saliva in our mouth, will neutralize these acids. So you need to allow the acid to be neutralized. So if you start brushing immediately after a glass of, you know, acidic juice like orange juice, you're going to rub the acid onto your enamel, which makes the enamel thin over time. I'm not saying it'll happen within a day. So it may take a few months, and that can lead to tooth sensitivity.
That's a really good explanation. But still, brushing straight away, because for me, when I wake up, I need to brush, otherwise I don't wake up for me. So that's not bad still.
It's not bad at all.
Okay, that's good. That's good. And okay, let's talk a little bit about the tooth decay. How does it work? These bacteria and they eat. And actually, I was talking in my introduction video. There's people believe they were tooth worm. Is there a tooth worm or is it tooth bacteria?
That's an interesting thing. Question actually, Akram. The tooth worm or the tooth worm theory we used to call in the dental textbooks come from the practice which was prevailing in mainly, as you said, in Southeast Asia, where they're not trained dentists. Okay, I don't know how to call them, but you can call them like, you know, a snake oil salesman kind of people, sitting in the market usually in those days, and they used to pull people's teeth out if they are decayed, without any anesthesia, without numbing their mouths or teeth, and they used to take out the nerve of the tooth and show it to people, because that becomes a charm, you know, in the marketplace, like you know, playing with the snakes in the Middle East and East Asia. And they used to remove the nerve, which is actually basically a soft tissue, like just like underneath the skin. If you have a cut wound, you get bleeding, you get pain. So the same kind of tissue resides inside a tooth. And they used to pull that. It looks like a worm because it's a really tiny
white, yeah, that's right.
So that they used to say, oh, this is the worm that was eating your teeth away, but that's not true. It's just a myth.
So there is no tooth worm.
There's no tooth worm. It's actually your nerve tissue which is being pulled out by those, you know.
Okay, let's talk what is like. I have even explained a little bit about this tooth decay, how it happens. Would you be able to tell us how it happens, this bacteria, how it attacks?
A simple analogy. For any disease to happen, there should be certain conditions for it to happen. For example, if we get, like, you know, for example, a heart attack. So if there should be a heart attack, then you shouldn't be doing much activity. You should be taking a lot of fatty foods or fried foods over a long period of time, and these things make the blood vessels clot, and then you get a heart attack. The same way, the tooth decay, it's not going to happen because you eat a bar of chocolate today or you drink a can of Coke today. If it happens over time, you're exposing the tooth to lots of sugar every day. The bacteria love the sugar. As I explained, the bacteria, they're always there in the mouth. They don't come from anywhere.
While we're talking, we're going to prepare another video, and we're going to show in this video how this tooth decay happens.
Yeah.
And you can go ahead and explain. Thank you.
So basically, you get the coating on your teeth. As soon as you brush, within a few minutes, you get a coating on your teeth, which is from your own saliva. That is that attracts bacteria. So the bacteria is always on your teeth, and when you expose it to a can of Coke or a sugar, it's like a sponge, this plaque or this food debris, which you can't see, but it's still there. This absorbs the sugar molecules like a sponge into it and keeps it close to the tooth surface. And if you don't brush it, or if you expose your teeth throughout the day with a can of Coke, chocolates, so it's going to get saturated with lots of sugar close to the surface. And that over time turns into an area where the bacteria eat the sugar and leave acids.
The acid there, right?
So that acid stays there.
Right.
So it's a combination of high sugar intake or frequent sugar intake. That's the right word to use.
Frequent sugar intake. Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you take 2 spoonsful of sugar. It may be bad for your body, you would say as a doctor.
Yeah.
But for the teeth, it's okay. 2 spoons in a go. But if you're taking 1 spoon every 1 hour, that's more damaging to the teeth.
Right.
So if you're drinking a soft drink or a juice, finish up. Don't keep sipping and watching a television. Don't keep sipping when you're working. That's a bad habit. That's really bad for your teeth.
Wow, that's quite interesting.
Really
I never heard. So if you open a can of Coke and you're watching your movie for 2 hours, especially Indian movies, 2.5 hours.
You may say, I just had a can of Coke, but how long you had that for? You're sipping, constantly exposing the teeth to the decay, and bacteria love it. So it will lead to decay.
So these bacteria don't eat the teeth. This is the acid which destroys.
It destroys the teeth, and once the smooth surface of the tooth becomes a cave, more and more it's going to attract more and more bacteria, and becomes a vicious cycle where it'll lead to deeper cavity. And once they reach close to your nerve of the tooth, it's going to be.
And that's the time you feel pain, isn't it? So
that's the time.
They keep eating, and until they reach the nerve, which is inside the tooth.
Yeah.
And that's
which is a bad thing, because when the decay starts, you don't feel anything.
You don't feel it. So when it reached that bit, the nerve, it's going further.
Really
Okay, let's play this video, and this is courtesy of the Gentle Dental Online. Thanks again for the YouTube for providing that. If anybody want to watch the video in full, you could always go back to YouTube and watch the Gentle Dental Online. Anyway, thank you very much. And let's, until they play, let's go ahead with the video and watch it.
Tooth decay is the most common disease in the world. That's because inside everybody's mouth, there's a war going on. Our teeth are under attack by billions of bacteria that grow in a layer called plaque. It's an invisible battle because the bacteria are the same color as your teeth, and they hide in those hard-to-reach areas of the mouth, like the gum line and between the teeth. In here, the plaque bacteria thrive on the sugary foods we love to eat and drink. The problem is, bacteria turn these sugars into acids, and acids eat into tooth enamel. But this is where our body fights back, thanks to saliva. Our spit is full of minerals that replace the ones dissolved away by plaque acids. It takes about 20 minutes after a meal for the minerals to get back in balance. But if more minerals are eaten away than replaced, the enamel collapses, and bacteria can get into the tissues below. This is a cavity, and the tooth is in trouble. The bacteria will start rotting the dentine layer under the enamel, causing tooth decay. When the decay hits the sensitive pulp area, you get a toothache. But by now, the enamel is completely undermined. Although only a dentist can remove bacteria from a cavity, you can play your part in the fight against plaque. If you cut out the between-meal snacks and regularly remove bacteria with brush and floss, then you'll be helping your body win the war against tooth decay.
Yeah, we showed the video, and let's explain a little bit how, as you said, how to prevent this one. We talked about brushing, and again, let's make it
Okay.
so everybody will remember it.
Okay. So the brushing is the basic thing that anyone has to do if they care about their teeth. So that's the key thing. So as you can see, if you disrupt that plaque with the brushing, you're going to do half your job in preventing the decay. The second half of the prevention comes from what you drink and what you eat.
So it's, yeah, one is brushing and the other one you look
one
at the
is
food what you're eating.
What you're eating. So if your diet consists of lots of fruit juices all along and you drink squashes instead of water all day long, you're bound to get decay. You're increasing your chances of getting a tooth decay.
Right.
So
that's a very good point. You know, like when I see at work people, of course, then we advise them to drink a lot of water. People cannot drink normal water, and they always put a little bit of squash into it and drink whole day long.
It's not good for the teeth.
It's not good for the teeth
at all. So the advice for those people is try to switch to water. If you don't like the taste of water, then yeah, I mean, you can use the no added sugar squashes, but if you have to drink them
lemon
instead of, you know, the water, then the other tip or personal suggestion or tip is I suggest, like, use a straw. So the juice goes straight to your tummy, where it's intended to go.
A straw,
without,
yeah.
Straw.
That's a good
so,
point.
but that doesn't still give the full liberty that you can drink squash all day long or have even the diet Coca-Colas, diet Pepsis. The diet Pepsis, as I said, it's acidic, so it's still acidic, not good for your...
If you put a lemon on the water, will it be okay?
Lemon
Not
is refreshing.
just
again, you have to be mindful of the acid content.
Acid content.
So if it's just a lemon floating in, like, you know, a refreshing drink, I don't think that's bad for the teeth.
Right. So it's very difficult. And for the body, you advise something, ask them to drink a lot of water. They can't drink the plain water, and they want to drink with something. And
it's one of the modern diseases we call the tooth decay, because it comes with our for, like, you know, 60 years ago, you can't go to a shop and then just pick up a squash and drink all day. It's just like, you know.
Okay, we talked about teeth now, how to clean the teeth, and how to prevent, how to brush, and what food you should eat or food you should not eat, what drinks. Let's talk a little bit about gum disease. This is now, it's also involved with the teeth, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So gum disease affects almost up to 70% of adults all over the world. 70% of us will develop gum disease at some point, and as we age beyond, you know, 50, almost all of us will have some element of gum disease somewhere in the mouth. So what is this gum disease? So gum disease is basically when the tooth comes through the mouth, when we are, like, you know, usually we get adult teeth by the age of 6, and slowly one by one they come through, and we get a full set by 14. So from 14 years of age, you see the white tooth in a mouth, and the gums will be covering the necks of the teeth. Gum disease is basically where you start to lose the gum which supports the teeth, which actually attaches the tooth to the bone. So the condition of gum disease is where you lose the gum as well as the bone which supports the teeth. In the worst cases or later stages of the gum disease, your tooth starts to move. That's called like, you know, oh, I have a wobbly tooth. In those stages, the dentist can do a lot of treatment to prolong the life of the tooth. There's still a lot of treatment available, but the issue with the gum disease is there is no cure for it. So you can't cure a gum disease, but you can control and stabilize. And that's why we recommend coming to us.
How frequently someone is supposed to come and see the dentist?
That's a good question, Akram. I mean, it varies depending on the level of gum disease they have. So if someone has 2 or 3 teeth affected by gum disease, we wouldn't be seeing them every 3 months or even 6 months if they are fairly healthy and if they take our advice. So for someone with severe gum disease, it could be as short as 3 months.
3 months, right.
They'll have to, nowadays more and more people use the service of hygienists who are specifically trained to treat gum disease under the or without the direction of the dentist. Now they can have a direct access to dental hygienists, which means you don't have to go to a dentist to see a hygienist.
Right. For our general public, how frequently they need to come and see dentists? Once a year at least, or once in 2 years?
I mean, there's been a guideline published by NICE, which is the National Institute of Clinical Excellence in the UK. They recommend the dental visits based on how much dental problems a person has. So if a person develops a decay every 3 months, we need to see them in 3 months and then address the problem and try to prevent and make them understand why they are getting decay and try to prevent it. So if a person has someone like has no fillings ever, so if one of you who are watching, you didn't have any fillings and your gums are fairly healthy and your dentist says that your brushing is quite good, it could be as long as 12 months or 18 months.
Okay.
So you don't have to see a dentist
roughly once a year, 1.5 years if you don't
so
have
take the advice of a dentist basically.
If you don't have any dental problem. And there's another question coming through, and this lady actually called our studio and she was talking Bengali and they have translated and sent it to me here. Okay, she's got red, sensitive, painful gum. She has been to a dentist and who has, not sure what she has advised, and the second dentist has advised to use mouthwash. And she wants to know what is your opinion about it.
Okay. I mean, obviously, it's quite difficult to grasp the picture there.
Yeah.
But from what she's saying, probably she has a gum disease with probably a gum shrinkage, which can be the cause for the tooth sensitivity. The redness of the gum, and if she has seek the dentist advice, I would strongly advise that she follows the dentist advice. And if it's not getting any better, she could go back to the dentist. And I'm not too sure whether they've done an X-ray. So we do some investigations to find out whether it is the gum issue majorly or the tooth issue.
Tooth issue, yeah.
The tooth will be sensitive, the gums will be painful. So there are, even though it's connected to the tooth, but they are, one is from the inside of the tooth, one problem is outside of the tooth. So I would strongly recommend her to get back to the dentist if things are not getting better with the mouthwash.
Right, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. And symptoms and signs of gum disease, we said painful, and what else is there?
The gum disease is a killer for the tooth because it doesn't cause pain most of the time. The only situations where it causes pain is when it forms a gum abscess. So where, like in any wound, if you don't look after it, it forms pus and it collects pus. So similar to that, you can have a gum abscess. That can be painful, but generally gum disease is painless. So and that's one of the reasons why many people come quite late to a dentist, or they don't keep up their appointments regularly because it is not making them see us. There's no pain in it.
That's interesting.
So it's a painless disease process where the gums shrink and then make the tooth pulpy.
So receding gum, is there any treatment for that?
The receding gums, there are two main causes for it. One is the gum disease. The other reason could be that some people brush too harsh.
Too harsh.
That can lead to gum shrinkage as well. Again, if you are seeing your dentist regularly, these problems could be spotted at the early stage, and the preventive methods, as you know, prevention is always better than cure. So it could be put in place.
Thank you very much. Let's talk quickly. We're going to almost finish the program. Let's quickly, if you can explain quickly about the stains. What can we do for the stains?
Stains, as we explained, the other major factor with the gum disease is smoking. People who smoke have 70% of gum and bone loss directly connected to smoking. And that relates quite heavily to stains. People who don't smoke, if you're worried about lots of stains, it comes from the food we eat. Even if you have a cherry tomato, it can stain our teeth.
Wow. Tea stains more than coffee, is that right?
Tea stains, green tea especially stains quite easily.
Okay.
Red wine stains easily.
Red wine.
But if you're a regular brusher and you keep to your brushing and you use good technique, these stains are preventable entirely. The stains that come from smoking or the stains that have been left and you've not cleaned properly, you will need the help of dentists and or the hygienist to give you a clean and a polish. And they have the special equipments to do that and the special polish, which makes you feel good as well.
Thank you very much, Bala. It was an amazing time. It was really short because we're running out. There's a lot of programs going on in the studio today suddenly. And the first programs ran over us and we had to make a bit shorter. But do you want to say anything to our public?
The main message is, like, you know, a lot of you who are watching will have like questions. You can always, as Dr. Akram said, you can write to us and we'll try our best to answer it. But keeping your dental health, as we said, the brushing is the key thing, and keeping your dental visits is another thing. So we could help you prevent your problems rather than, you know, keep treating you for problems.
Thank you very much for especially coming from Poole. That's quite far away. And I think you must be one of my speakers who came probably the furthermost for the program. And we really appreciate your help.
Thank you for actually inviting me.
Anyway, for all of you, if you have any further questions, this program will be uploaded into the YouTube Health Talk with Dr. Akram. So keep an eye on that program. And you can write it under the comments, and we will try to get as much as answers possible from Bala, and he is always with us. And otherwise, you can write anything, and we'll try to get more stuff. But anyway, today we've been talking about dental care generally. It's a very short program. In this program, somehow we covered what you need to know basically about how to brush and tooth decay, and we talked a little bit about gum disease. But for more programs will be coming up probably next year at some point about dental. We're going to talk more sophisticated stuff of dental care. But anyway, thank you for staying with us on Iron Health Talk with Dr. Akram. If you have any further questions, please email us healthtalk@intv.co.uk or message us to our dedicated YouTube channel, as I said, Health Talk with Dr. Akram. And you can also write to my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and we'll respond to you as soon as we can. But for now, goodbye and keep yourself safe. Thank you very much.